I want to talk to you today about 4 major categories of homes, or the 4 most common styles of homes that we see here in Wilmington. So that way, if you are looking in this area and you want to live here, you kind of know generally what style of homes are here. Our number 1 category is going to be beach homes. When I say beach home, what I mean is a vertical home built on stilts where the main living area is elevated. Oftentimes you park underneath. These homes are typically in flood zones, so if the ocean ever rose and there was a major flood event, that water could literally go underneath the house and not affect any of the major mechanical systems. These homes are designed with views in mind. You want to get up off the ground so you can see further. Back in the day, they had the primary living area kind of in the middle of the home, and then they would put the bedrooms up tall. That's an older style of beach construction. But now the new way, and you might hear someone refer to a reverse floor plan, is where you have the gathering area and the living room and the kitchen on the very, very top floor. That maximizes your views. Some of the pros are you don't have a large footprint of homes, so roofing can be a little bit cheaper because sometimes you have 2 or 3 levels, and you also kind of get a de facto garage. A lot of times covered parking where you can park under the home. But the cons of living in this style of home, if you're near the beach, of course, it's going to be expensive. But number 2 is going to be lots of stairs. Any of these homes, you either have to have stairs or you have to have an elevator. And if you are maybe advanced in age or have knee issues, just evaluate that. These houses are mostly going to be in flood zones. Your mechanical, like your HVAC, will have to be up off the ground and elevated. Also, a lot of people ask, well, can I close in the bottom of the house? It depends on your insurance, because if you do close it in and it's not vented properly or it's not done properly, it might not be insurable. One of my favorite home inspectors always has this line. He says, Caleb, if you can see the ocean can see you. So you have to know that if you are in one of these beach homes, that you are much more subject to salt air and all of the deterioration. So that affects everything. Every piece of metal that water can get to will rust and have accelerated rust. Where that really matters is the pilings and the lag bolts that attach the home together. You need to just make sure that you're inspecting those and that they're still in good working order, because they can back out and get loose. I have stayed in a 50-year-old beach home before in the Outer Banks, and I've been on the very top level. They can sway a little bit if it's not completely tight. So just heads up on that. If you're buying an old house, just be aware, because that is terrifying. Second big style of home that I see here is a brick ranch. Now, the brick ranch, I affectionately call the F-150 of houses, because there are millions of them everywhere and they're cheap to maintain. They're dependable. It is brick, okay? It is 1-story, single level living. It is often rectangular in nature, with the living area and kitchen on one side of the home, and then a hallway, and then bedroom. A lot of these homes were built in the 60s and 70s. There are multiple neighborhoods here in Wilmington that are just mainly all brick ranches. Kings Grant is going to be an example of one. Now, a lot of brick ranches were built as a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So you'd have the full bath in the hallway, and then you would have on the master suite just a half bath. And that can be great, but if you are young families, it can be kind of restrictive because you have to share your only shower with guests. The best thing about brick is it's solid, it's durable, it's easy to maintain. You don't have vinyl and then a wood frame. You have brick. Like it's straight up brick.
I love lamp. Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it? I love lamp.
So these are solid homes. They do really well through things like hurricanes. Some of them are updated beautifully. A lot of them are on crawl spaces. So you will have a crawl space underneath that will a lot of times house your mechanical, plumbing, electrical. Make sure you look in that crawl space. You are hoping for a vapor barrier and a dehumidifier. That's like creme de la creme. That's the best situation. But if you don't take care of the crawl space in one of these homes, it can go south fast, because the ground water table is so high here that the water will evaporate into the subfloor and the floor joists, and that wood will rot over time. These are great for elderly people that age in place, again, because it's one level. It's very easy to navigate, no stairs throughout the home. And these often are in established neighborhoods with mature trees, mature landscaping. The main cons, a lot of times, is the space. The bedrooms are always a bit cramped usually. So there's just not a lot of closet space. So, you have to get an armoire or a big dresser. A lot of these homes had the utility room, like a laundry, out in like a carport, or even in a separate, like you had to walk outside to get to it. But other Other than that, brick ranches are solid, dependable, and there's tons of them here. The third style of home I'm going to talk about is going to be your historic homes. Now, Wilmington has some old houses. I've sold a house as old as 1898 before on Red Cross Street. I'm actually about to list another one that was built in like 1904. Most of them are concentrated around downtown. They're typically solid wood framing. The way these homes were built with big timbers, like 100-year-old beams. So there's multiple styles of historic homes. You have kind of like your craftsman bungalow, you have like colonial, the 2-story. The biggest pro is they have character. They have a story. And downtown, there's actually an historic district overlay, where if you live in this overlay, if you're gonna upgrade your house, you have to use the same period correct materials from when the house was built, so that it still presents in that same light. So this preserves character, it preserves charm. But if you are someone that doesn't like to follow the rules, don't buy a house in the historic district overlay. You have these really cool features like ceiling medallions and chandeliers and these amazing hand-hewed banisters. But let's talk about the cons. They can fall into disrepair pretty quickly. Termites in our area are pretty prevalent. Sometimes these crawl spaces were definitely not encapsulated. They didn't have dehumidifiers back then. So if someone wasn't checking on those floor joists and checking on the subfloor, then you can have a lot of sagging and settling. Historic homes, none of them are going to pass the marble test. Everything in Wilmington is built on sand. Oftentimes they have major piers or one section in the middle and things will settle kind of around it. You can correct that by jacking up strategic parts of the home and leveling it out, but just know that nothing's going to be level. The craftsman bungalow style home are super cute. These are neighborhoods like Carolina Place and Sunset Park. The craftsman style specifically comes from Sears Roebuck craftsman homes, where homeowners would order from a catalog all the materials of a house and put it together. So you hear people talk about their grandfathers like building their houses. It might be a craftsman home literally ordered out of a catalog. Always get a home inspection, but what you're looking for is one that's been hopefully rewired and updated. A lot of these homes were wired before we had a ground pin, and they might not be grounded. A lot of these homes use cast iron sewer lines, and cast iron is prone to rusting out over time. So these homes are going to be a little bit more maintenance heavy. However, they're going to be in a great location, walking distance downtown. And I think the coolest part about these historic homes is you are not just buying a house, but you are now the next owner in a long line of history. And the last style of home I'm going to call modern, contemporary, new construction. This refers to basically any home built around the mid 2000s, 2005, 2008 range or newer. This is characterized by a monolithic slab, so one giant piece of concrete. The home that I am in right now is this one giant slab. They can sometimes be reinforced by rebar, etc. And then they're wood frame, stick built, framed out home on top of that slab. It's going to be open floor plans. The pros are going to be, these are going to be in the newer communities that will have newer amenities. Your roof is newer, your HVAC is newer, updated to modern standards. It's updated electrical, it's updated HVAC, it's updated plumbing. You don't have to worry about that stuff. The downside is newer construction is often in newer neighborhoods that are typically clear cut, a little bit less personality. The word cookie cutter comes to mind, smaller lots. Right here in my community in River Lights, I mean, I could reach out and touch my neighbor. It's not great for some people. One of the drawbacks of the slab is that all the plumbing is in the slab and it's fixed, so that if you wanted to add a bathroom or an addition or do something else, you have to break out a jackhammer, and that can get very expensive. Newer homes are just built with cheaper materials. You're going to see stuff like roof decking and the sheathing as OSB, as opposed to, thicker plywood boards or slatted kind of roofs in an old historic home. So you want to really know your builder's reputation. You want to know the community. And I'd say with these homes, really the main two things that you're looking at are your HVAC and your roof. A lot of these homes are in HOAs, in a homeowners association that might have restricted covenants or rules of how you can use your home, what you can and can't park in the driveway. The good about the HOA is that it keeps the neighborhood nice. It keeps your neighbor from keeping a junkyard car in his front yard. But the bad is that they also tell you what to do. Now I know I've missed all kinds of stuff, and we didn't talk about condos, townhouses, but these are just 4 major ones I see. So if you're looking at evaluating real estate in the Wilmington area or just real estate in general, send me a message. I would love to talk with you. This is what I do. Hope this video was helpful. Tell me something you learned in the comments, or tell me a style of home that I missed, or just tell me something you don't like about me. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you at the next video.